Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, April 22, 2024. Now before you jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at this tweet from Mike's weather page. He's one of the persons on Twitter that if you're not already following them, you need to, as he posts a lot of very informative things regarding the hurricane season and even has a website at that. He highlighted the fact that the Weather Channel, owned by the Weather Company, has posted their 2024 Atlantic hurricane season outlook. We know that Colorado State University had posted their outlook a couple weeks ago, calling for 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. Now, the Weather Company that owns the Weather Channel that we always post here on Weather Jamaica has posted their outlook, calling for 24 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 6 major hurricanes, so that we can see that they are upping it in terms of the named storms in terms of 1 over what Colorado State University was predicting, and they also upped it in terms of 1 again in the case for the major hurricanes. That's category 3 to 5. So we'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, both of these entities are predicting an above normal hurricane season, so it's quite interesting to see exactly what's going to be unfolding with the upcoming La Nina and the very warm sea surface temperatures across the Atlantic basin. So stay tuned and ensure that you all get ready just in case. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that the entire Atlantic basin is still being dominated by that ridge of high pressure that's responsible for sending all of those easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And these strong trade winds are definitely bringing a lot of dust from Africa across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can see that cold front that we've been watching across the eastern United States has now pushed out southeastward. It's now to the east of the US, affecting sections of Florida and the Bahamas, not to mention the Gulf of Mexico. We can see a broken red line right here across portions of Puerto Rico associated with a trough that has been plaguing the island with some amount of rainfall for the past 2 days. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see all of those low-level patches of clouds moving from east to west in that flow of wind, all courtesy of that ridge of high pressure. We can also see the line of clouds right here off the east coast of the United States stretching down into portions of Florida, the Bahamas, the Gulf of Mexico, associated with that cold front. And we can also see the clouds associated with the trough still bringing some amount of overcast skies and isolated showers to sections of Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, not to mention sections of Hispaniola. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean's weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Monday, April 22. It was stated that we would have received some rainfall across sections of some northern parishes in Jamaica on Monday afternoon. And just for reference, we know northern parishes, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. And what ended up happening? As early as 1:35 p.m., the visible satellite images were posted on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make daily posts that are not made here on our YouTube platform. And we can see the visible satellite images showing clouds bringing overcast skies and isolated showers to sections of some northern parishes. So definitely sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland got in on some of the action. Then even by 5:51 p.m. the visible satellite images were posted, and we started to see some of these clouds from the north coast spill into sections of some southern parishes. So sections of Negril, Westmoreland got in on some of the action, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, sections of Clarendon, even sections of St. Andrew got in on the action as well. And we have confirmation from some of our followers. This one from Monique Ferguson on our Facebook page. It's raining in Negril. I love the Lord even more for this wonderful blessing. I know the plants and flowers are rejoicing and dancing. So she definitely got rainfall in her part of Western Jamaica. Pida underscore Don stating raining in Top Trelawney. Bad underscore Jamaican stating raining in Negril. Then we had Roxy J76 stating got some heavy showers in Trelawney. Then we had underscore dot underscore Ryan stating got some rain again in Hanover. Can't wait for the rainy season. Hate when the place dry. You and me both, Ryan. So we saw that even the latest visible satellite images were showing that it was clear for the most part across eastern Jamaica, Portland, St. Thomas in the clear. If we take a look at the latest visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see we have those clouds. Definitely bring some overcast skies and isolated showers to sections of Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester. And the latest visible satellite images before the sun went down were still showing some amount of clouds across sections of St. Elizabeth. If we take a look at the infrared satellite images before this hour, we can see that we even had some sparkling white dots in some areas, inland areas, that we know are indicative of some amount of lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes. But we can see that for the most part, majority of the cloud cover and the isolated showers associated with it are starting to dissipate as we speak, even although we still have some across the island. Taking a look at the Cuban Doppler radar images, we know Doppler radar images show the actual rainfall as opposed to satellite images that can show cloud cover. And we know that we can have cloud cover over an area and not necessarily rainfall. This is why the Doppler radar is so important. Hopefully the Jamaican Doppler radar is fixed very soon. So we can see that even based on what we just saw in the satellite images, we can make out those greens and yellows that represent some isolated shores across sections of Manchester, St. Elizabeth right there. But you might be wondering what's about all of those greens, reds and yellows across the northern portion of the island. All of that is ground clutter. We know the ground clutter is different from the actual rainfall. Ground clutter is what we refer to as a glitch in the system. Don't pay all of that any mind. The usual rainfall is usually moving in a specific direction. Taking a look at the latest temperatures, we have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Tuesday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Tuesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Tuesday. And we see Jamaica embedded in some yellows and some slight orange colors that we can see by the key on the right is representing anywhere from 1 to 2, maybe even up to 30 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of April across Jamaica are about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 88 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 32, maybe even up to 33 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Tuesday. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that the dry air is represented by what we see on the key on the bottom. The yellows represent the low end of the scale in terms of dry air, and we do see more in the way of yellows across majority of the Caribbean, which explains all of the rainfall that we've been having recently. The air is a bit moist across the Caribbean. We're indeed grateful for that. We see more so oranges, reds and whites within those reds across the rest of the Atlantic. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Tuesday, Jamaica will still be in the clear for that time, but we can see that majority of the browns that represent the Saharan dust that has been stretching all the way from Africa across the mid-development region into the Caribbean should be plaguing majority of the southern and eastern Caribbean, not to mention northern South America. We see those darker shades of browns. We know that can, cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some people. We're indeed grateful that Jamaica will be in the clear for 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Not so sure for Wednesday, Thursday and Friday though, but I'll keep you posted. More than likely it's definitely coming our way as all of this is pushing from east to west. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we see that Tuesday is showing more so in the way of those lighter shades of blues and those darker shades of blues that represent what we see on the key on the bottom right. That's actually 0.5 for meter wave height to 1 meter wave height, and that's because the winds are gonna be not that strong at all. We see more of a bluish mixture, bluish greenish mixture, that's representing anywhere from 5 to 10 to even 15 knot winds coming in from the east northeast for the most part. And we also see that the air should be piling up mainly across sections of some inland areas of some central and western parishes, more so sections of some southern parishes. I'm gonna be inclined to believe more of what the Euro is showing, with more of those darker shades of blues across southern Jamaica that we know indicate where all of the air will be piling up. So more of those cumulus clouds, those low level cumulus clouds, will be piling up into the mid levels of the atmosphere, possibly becoming some rain clouds. Who knows, maybe even making it up to cumulonimbus status like what we saw today with those high cold cloud tops and those sparkling white dust being blown off towards the east northeast, just as we stated in yesterday's video, with the upper level wind shear coming in from the west southwest. Tomorrow the upper level wind shear seems to be coming in more so from the southwest, and with the air piling up across southwestern Jamaica, that's definitely going to be bringing some more lingering rainfall to sections of some southern parishes. Taking a look at the rainfall forecast now, this map from the GFS and this map from the Euro are both showing 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time, and we see that we're definitely going to be getting in on some rainfall across the island tomorrow, more so across sections of some south central and southwestern portions of the island as we see those blues. So definitely southern Jamaica, I'm more inclined to believe, with all of that air piling up across southern Jamaica. So definitely maybe sections of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, maybe even spilling into sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. Either way, we're indeed grateful. The pattern for the past couple of days has been for northern Jamaica. It's back to southern Jamaica receiving some rainfall again. And we're indeed grateful. The accumulated precipitation forecast maps are showing more rainfall than predicted, and that's because they're actually showing rainfall from now up into tonight into the early morning hours. But I'm not that intrigued by what they're showing, especially considering that there's not much consensus on the 1 hour total forecast, which is why I didn't show it. But the consensus was for Tuesday afternoon, so I'm inclined to be showing Tuesday afternoon instead of what it was showing for tonight into tomorrow morning. Yes, it is showing rainfall surrounding the island, but I don't believe it. Either way, we see the Euro showing more rainfall than the GFS as usual. Euro showing up to 0.92 of an inch of rainfall across sections of central Jamaica. GFS showing up to 0.31 of an inch of rainfall. That's the most we see right there across southwestern Jamaica. Either way, both maps are showing that somewhere in Jamaica is going to be receiving rainfall within the next 24 hours. We're indeed grateful for that. And we'll take all the rainfall that we can get, considering that we're still in the month of April, we're still in our dry season. We usually receive up to 114 millimeters of rainfall during this month. That's almost 5 inches of rainfall. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get to put some kind of a dent in the drought that some areas are currently experiencing. Alright, so that's it for the weather across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can actually see that we indeed have some amount of clouds bringing overcast skies and some amount of rainfall right there into sections of French Guyana, Suriname, Guyana, sections of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama as usual. Not to mention those areas that we already mentioned. So sections of Florida associated with that cold front, the northern Bahamas, Puerto Rico, sections of the Dominican Republic getting in on the action as well. Not to mention sections of Jamaica, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, this does indeed confirm where we're getting that rainfall right now across the waters to the west of the US Virgin Islands. Definitely some heavy rainfall right there between there and Puerto Rico. Sections of Puerto Rico got in on the action today as well. And if we put these Doppler radar images in motion from about 1:30 p.m. today, you can see the general flow associated with the trough coming in from the south for the most part, and this does indeed paint a picture of where we got the rainfall today. So the US and British Virgin Islands, sections of Puerto Rico got in on some of the rainfall. Not much rainfall across the Leeward Islands, but we do see that rainfall dancing to the east and west of Guadeloupe and Dominica. If we take a look at the Barbados radar now, nothing happening across Barbados right now, but we do see that we indeed have that rainfall pushing in from east to west to the south and to the north of Barbados, heading into sections of Dominica, Martinique, sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines maybe later on tonight, and even sections of Tobago might get in on some of the action as well, with those squall lines pushing in from east to west. Taking a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some of that rainfall associated with the cold front still bring some isolated showers to sections of South Florida, sections of the Bahamas. You can also see some rainfall across sections of French Guiana, Suriname on those radars, sections of northwestern Venezuela and Colombia too. If we take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18 on Tuesday, which is actually 2 p.m. 1 p.m. actually on Tuesday. We do see the blues and the greens that represent below normal temperatures for sections of Central America, Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, the southern and eastern United States, while those grays, yellows and oranges that represent above normal temperatures should be plaguing anywhere from Belize, Guatemala, majority of Central America, South America, and majority of the Caribbean, anywhere from the southern Bahamas southward. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Tuesday, we do see those browns that represent the Saharan dust that should be plaguing northern South America, the ABC Islands, anywhere from Puerto Rico eastward. So the US and British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana. All of these areas are going to be experiencing some amount of hazy skies, all courtesy of the dust from the Sahara Desert that could be triggering some amount of respiratory illnesses in some people, maybe asthma, sinusitis. And if we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can actually see where we're going to be getting in on those lighter shades of blues that represent anywhere from 0 to 0.5 meter wave height, while we see those darker shades of blues as well that represent anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave height. Majority of the Caribbean should be getting in on that, and that's because the winds for the most part are not going to be that strong, coming in from the east across the Caribbean for the most part, with a mixture of blues and greens that represent anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots, maybe gusting to 20 knots in some spots. As it relates to the rainfall forecast, now it makes sense that majority of the eastern Caribbean won't be getting in much rainfall with all of the dust that's going to be present. We see more grays than anything else. We see those colors, the greens, yellows, oranges and reds associated with those troughs that should be plaguing sections of the US and British Virgin Islands. If it's not already falling right now, it's definitely going to be expected within the next 24 hours. Puerto Rico, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, more so the Dominican Republic than Haiti. You can also see some of the action into sections of French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, sections of southern Venezuela, western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, sections of southern Belize and eastern Guatemala right there. We can also see some of the action associated with the cold front across sections of southern Florida and the Bahamas. And we know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching.